Happy New Year! Welcome to another installment of Red Carpet Living with Jen. I am your hostess, Jennifer Mercado, Florida-based realtor, here to talk to you about creating goals and setting intentions for the new year. It's a little bit cliche, I know, but I do have a confession. I did not subscribe to goals or intentions until last year. Yeah. 2020 was the first year that I actually created a vision board, had intentions, and went into the year with an idea in mind of what I wanted my year to look like. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive in as to what changed my mind and why some of the things that helped me might help you. So last year, I felt an itch, I want to say at the beginning of the year, that things weren't going to be a normal year. I could not have anticipated the way the year progressed, but I did have that sensation at the beginning of the year. So much so that I went to a vision board party, which I'd never done. And I set myself up to feel what I wanted to feel, but not necessarily know how I was going to get there. Which was different for me because I always wanted to do an intention or a goal knowing exactly how to get there. Like the plan had to be in place, like it was going to be A, B, C, and D, and that was it. But because this past year was so different, I kind of just let it go with the flow. And it was great because I didn't hold on to things looking a certain way, but the outcome was the same of that feeling that I had intended for on my vision board. So that was exciting. One of the things that I just mentioned is not really subscribing to not having a plan. That's not what I thought an intention was. I thought an intention and a goal meant you had to have an exact plan for how to get there. And that was my demise for so many years. I hated New Year's resolutions because I would think of something nice and then I had no idea how to get there. So I'd give up on it by March. Like even losing weight, that one for me, I never set myself up at the beginning of the year to lose weight up until last year because I'm like, I'm just going to disappoint myself. I know I'm going to give up. I know I'm going to eat the chocolate. I'm going to drink the wine. I'm going to do all the things that I would normally do that won't let me lose weight. So I'm not even going to set myself up for disappointment. I just won't have a resolution to do it. And it was that kind of fear of disappointment that kept me away from it, which was helpful because then I never went into a resolution feeling like resentful for not being able to attain it. But this past year, one of the things that I noticed was if I gave myself a small task, a small goal that in some way connected to the larger scheme of what I wanted my life and the things that I was creating to look like, the small steps were the way. There was actually a quote that I read last year that if you get overwhelmed by the staircase, to focus on the step. And that for me has been pivotal now in believing in intentions and resolutions and goals because I can focus on the one task at hand, the one thing that contributes to the larger staircase that I want to take on, but it doesn't overwhelm me so much so that I give up on the task because I didn't get the exact result that I wanted as if I had concluded the whole staircase, if that makes sense. So for you, anybody who's listening or watching and this resonates with you and you're like, yeah, I don't do resolutions. I'm not going to set myself up for being disappointed. I don't even want to have an expectation of what this year's going to look like because it might not turn out that way. My suggestion to you is to find small steps that you can keep yourself accountable for and not necessarily subscribe to, well, I'm going to lose 20 pounds and I need to do it by March. No. If your goal is to lose weight, we'll just use that as an example because I know it's a very popular New Year's resolution. Start small. Maybe start by tracking your calories. MyFitnessPal is free. Use that to find out, how much it is that you are eating. Is that what you want to, maintain? Do you want to lose weight? Do you need to eat less or more? Start with that so that you can get the information that you need to inform the next step, which would then be, okay, if I want to eat less calories in a day, how can I change my nutrition so that it can fit within, the budget that I gave myself? Luckily, I was able to lose 25 pounds last year, and it was by tracking how much I ate, deciding that I wanted to eat less so that I could lose weight. I lost the weight. And now my next goal is to, firm up and really keep my body active. So I go on walks 2 or once a day with my kids and the dog. Now I want to up it more. Now I want to do some running. Now I want to introduce some of the heavy lifting that I used to do before. But I could not have been comfortable doing that at the very beginning of the year when I still had all the weight that I had on me. So really taking it down step by step helped in celebrating the mini task that I was able to do, and using that celebration as motivation to get to the next thing. Now, if you are doing, or you wanted to, let's say, set some goals and intentions for your business, then I would highly recommend doing a business plan. It's really a good opportunity to peel back the curtains of your business, of your brand, of what it is that you want to create, and really giving an honest look at where you are and where it is that you want to go. I created a business plan last year. I looked at what my strengths were, what my weaknesses were, what my opportunities to improve were, what some threats were. I came up with a goal in mind, or I wouldn't say a goal because I have many goals, the larger one and then like the sub goals going into it. But I came up with what my business intentions are with working with my customers, and that mission statement, that guiding sentiment, that's what really pulls everything back together. Like, okay, if this is the type of service that I want to provide for my clients, this is what I need to do. How can I get to that next level? Oh, these are the small sub steps I want to take. So for instance, I'm working on getting my broker's associates. So I didn't even think that that was going to be a thing for me until when I did my business plan. And I was like, okay, well, what are some of the things that I could do to really excel and bring more of my expertise to the table with customers? Oh, I could become a broker's associate. I've already had my license. I've got other designations, other endorsements. The next thing that I want to work on now is getting my broker's associate license. So really just keeping in mind what your heart of hearts is in your business and your brand, and then assessing where you currently are and assessing where you want to go. Now, granted, I also had a money goal attached. I know how much I want to make. Will it happen overnight? No. So I have to create small steps into that larger goal, increasing my transactions a month, increasing my network, my visibility, my podcasting, different types of revenue streams that may be attached to real estate and might not. But ultimately knowing that the money that I do make, I want to reinvest back in real estate because that's where my heart and soul is right now for my career. So really just keeping an honest voice for yourself of what it is that you are intending, what it is that you want. And it doesn't have to be this huge, massive, life-changing goal. Maybe you have a small baby step that you need even more infantile steps to get to, and that's okay. Really, it's just about being honest with yourself, and don't be judgmental. Be kind, because we're all in an evolution phase, especially with this year, on the heels of last year and all the things that happened to so many of us and all of us going through it together. I mean, last year, it was like revolution after revolution after revolution. And now we've got so much information at our hands, at our fingertips, to inform how we want this year to go. Not to say that we should just focus on the larger things. We can also focus on the smaller things, because when we improve ourselves, even in the slightest bit, it does have a trickle effect with our social circles and with our family and with our coworkers. So remember that if you are going to set goals and intentions, to start small, have a nice task, have an idea of what the overall theme is of your goal, and write it down. Because then that way at the end of the year, you can review and say, okay, I did that, or I changed my mind about this. So instead of doing that, I did something else. But really, it gives you the space to reflect and to continue your intentions for where it is that you want to go, so that you can continue growing. Yeah. Actually, I'm looking down because I meant to do this episode a few days ago, but it was on my daughter's birthday. So I didn't do it when I wanted to, which was fine, because I know that the priority for that day was to celebrate my little 3-year-old. But I also gave myself the space to not get down on myself and disappointed, because you know what happens when you're disappointed and angry? You don't show up. And then you keep finding reasons to put off that thing that you've already put off because, oh, well, it's just going to upset me, or, oh, I'm not going to do it right, or, oh, it's already too late. No. So I'm a few days late with this video. I'll be a few days late on the audio podcast if that's how you're hearing it too. But that was a decision that I made because the priorities changed for that week. So it's just a matter of keeping your adaptability and flexibility, which I know we have all had practice in thanks to last year. And also keeping your small steps accountable for yourself too. And putting yourself on the hook. That's a new one for me because I didn't do that before either. And last year, one of the things that I wanted to do was become more visible on social media, which I've done. And in one of the lives that I initially did on my Facebook page, I said I was going to do it weekly. Was the intention for me to go on weekly and do Facebook lives? I don't think so. But at the moment, that's what kind of spilled out of me. So, okay, I put myself on the hook. I had an audience. I let somebody know. Everybody can hold me accountable to it. I decided that I wanted to do Facebook lives. And that was my goal. Posting every day, doing Facebook lives, getting my podcast up and running, which I've been doing and have been consistent with that as well. Although late, like I mentioned, but still showing up. And that's what's important too. That actually brings me back to another point with your goals. If you're not getting the result that you want immediately, don't give up. It takes time. We didn't, put on all the weight overnight that we've put on throughout the year. It takes time. We don't just magically know all the things at the beginning of a class. Sometimes we need the whole semester. So don't give up, especially on the days where you're like, yeah, this is never going to work. No, that's where you find that fortitude and that strength to really carry yourself through for the rest of the year. If that's how long it takes, that's how long it takes. It's a matter of showing up for yourself and showing up for that future that you want to create. So yes, if you are on the fence about creating resolutions, it's still not too late. Today is literally the first day of a brand new year, and it happens to be a Friday. And if you're catching this next week, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, in January, no, we're still in January, in February, I don't even know what day it is, but it's the first day of the year. So one of 365. Whenever it is that you're catching this, it might refuel you and motivate you to revisit some of the resolutions that maybe you dropped. Don't give up is the point. Really, it takes time, it takes patience, it takes practice, but above all, it takes consistency. Showing up for yourself is the best thing that you can do, because then at the end of the year, you really take a look back at everything that you've been able to do, and you reflect and you sigh, because you've created the life that you wanted to, or at least you attained a resolution or a goal that you almost put off because you wanted to give up. So don't give up. Keep on going. Keep on keeping on. And if you've never done resolutions, why not now, right? It's always fun to try something new, especially now that we've got so many promising things to look forward to this year. Why not? And if your goals change, and if you change as a person, and maybe you created a goal to lose weight, but actually what you wanted to do was become more fit, and you maintain the same weight because now it's muscle, then by all means do that too. You can absolutely change your goals as long as they are in line with the life and the person that you want to be. So don't give up. A little bit cliche of a message for 2021, but it is exactly what got me through all of last year. And I hope that that is going to continue carrying me on to the next year. So remember, keep your goals small and simple. Don't give in to the disappointment. Don't give in to the overall expectation of completing a whole staircase in one day, which you can't. Everything takes time. Everything takes consistency. So keep up showing up for yourself. And thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. If you're catching this over a podcast, I'm streaming, I think, on Anchor now, Anchor.fm, Google Podcasts, Breaker. There are a few. But if you're catching me like that, then cool. Thank you so much for spending your drive, your walk, or whatever it is that you've been doing with me today. So thank you so much. Have a great year. And I cannot wait to share more content with you guys throughout the year.